Good morning, everybody. This is Christy. I am the Intimate Warrior. Today is October the 31st. It is Halloween. So today I am still going to stick with the concept of what this full moon is giving to us. And so the other day, yesterday I posted the video about, again, the moon in Taurus and the full moon as well, combination. And I forgot to mention the Bindu. Of course, I have mentioned the Bindu in several of my other videos where we have began to tap into this center of it. Again, the Bindu is located at that soft spot where the swirl of our hair kind of is when we are, of course you can't see it if your hair is long. If you are a man and have shorter hair, you can see that little swirl. It's a soft spot on the baby's head, especially when they are first born. And it's soft. You can still feel the softness if you were to press on it. So that is the opening of the Bindu. The Bindu, the light penetrates from that opening center, because that's the point of opening. But it actually enters into the thalamus gland. The thalamus gland is a very important organ within us. Of course, everything is, because it all plays an important role. I also forgot to mention that the Bindu is the all-seeing eye, or the Godhead, also known as the all-seeing eye, which makes sense and ties into the illumination process that Taurus brings forth. And someone commented on my video, which I have not responded back, and I mentioned that I have been feeling very tired lately. Maybe 2 weeks. Exhaustion. It's not only because of the transformation, internal transformation within. I want you to understand there's an internal transformation that takes place that causes fatigue. And then a balancing of that fatigue into energy. It's the transmutation of energies, of the elements into its proper usage to rise, of course, and create that illumination process. As a result of the illumination process, where you were once feeling probably okay, or at least leveled, there's going to be a drop, because the change is taking place. And you could, for yourself, could experience high levels of energy, and another individual lower forms of energy. However it is supposed to work for you, until it creates a balance into the proper use of that element. And so I ended up, because of this, but I thank you for that comment, and I will respond back accordingly. I appreciate the information, and I did do my research on that, so thank you. As I was waking up today and seeing that message, later on, a verse from the Bible came to me, which, according to the Bible, it doesn't pertain to what I am about to express. It says, The spirit is willing, but the body is weak. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak. And this, for myself, the interpretation goes for exactly what, of course, I am going through, and perhaps many of you are as well. The spirit is willing to rise, but the body is feeling weak. Because again, we are at that time of, although we have tapped into the balancing of the feminine and masculine energies, and for a period we felt that balance, but there is a lot more to it than excuse my stuttering there, than balancing. It'll become balanced and then imbalanced again, because as we tap into something and create that balance, we go back down into a different center, and then we have to come back up because of where we fluctuate at, because of the astrological signs, because of the planets associated with them all, and therefore the chakra systems. We're always working in a certain part of us, which allows a separate element to be worked through and transmuted into its proper use. And then we come back to that other center of balancing of the energies again, where the hormones associated with it, whether we're working with the left and right side of the brain, masculine and feminine, or the pineal and pituitary glands, or the left and right side of our bodies, we are creating balance, and hormones are always being affected. And whatever hormones are associated with those centers, we have to deal with those side effects. And here, of course, we're at this point of, again, being able to see clearly. So the thalamus is being worked here. The pineal gland sits within, or just kind of below. It's there by the thalamus gland. And without the proper use of the thalamus gland, the pineal won't function properly, and the pituitary won't function properly. So the central area in the brain is the thalamus, and it plays an important it plays an important role in your spiritual awakening. As the body's immense nerve bundles emerge from the spine into the brain stem, they travel through the thalamus before being distributed through the corpus callosum, and then it branches out into the neocortex along the crown of the head, and which is of course associated with the crown chakra. Where the nerve fibers meet in the thalamus are the pituitary gland, the hypothalamus, the pineal gland, the third ventricle, and all of these are known as the cave of Brahma. This also is known as King Solomon's Temple, which I have been speaking about. So the central area here of the brain is often associated with profound insight, spiritual vision, and higher perception. Now, what you may be experiencing is more visible light. You might not only be seeing sparks, more sparkles in the form of white, light, and golden, also blues, reds, greens, and golds. Those are probably being enhanced right now. not just in the atmosphere, like you could be reading on your phone and glancing through social media, whatever it is that you do. I spend my time researching a lot. Well, lately I've had a habit of being on Marketplace, and I'm just scrolling through and scrolling through. It's become a bad habit. Not that I'm buying anything, I'm just looking. So as I have been reading, I have been seeing colors on my page in that form, where a long time ago I would see sparkles or the energy in the atmosphere moving from time to time, or more of the invisible energy moving, and from time to time it would be sparkles, from very small sparkles throughout. And this has fluctuated a lot throughout my process, because we are always coming back out to the pineal gland and trying to allow the life force energy to fill within our brain fully. And every month we have a time for this, for the life force, the Holy Spirit, the Christ within, to rise every month. And every month, the more that we are in alignment with love, the more that the element becomes electric, becomes more powerful. That's why the more that we do this, the more intuitive we become, the more clearly we can see. We'll pick up on more sounds, more clairvoyant, and more, all of the clairs will be enhanced. The heart begins to open and activate even more, so you become more connected to your spirit family. I have actually been picking up on more sounds here. Actually, yesterday, it sounded like children laughing. And I know we're close. Well, today is Halloween, so it does tie in with this moment. And I wasn't afraid. I'm at the point of not being afraid now of things like that. If this were to take place even a year ago, because it's been 2 years of my awareness, of my awakening process. If it took place a year ago, I would have still been terrified of it. This past year has been tremendous in my transformation and removal of the fear process. And so the thalamus, again, being linked to the cave of Brahma, is associated with Shiva. Shiva is the symbol or god that expresses the union of masculine and feminine energies. And I was going to go into great detail about that, but so the union of Shiva, which is the substance, with the combination of Shakti, or the omnipresent energy, creates this. And this is what it's about. When we allow our Kundalini to rise, it merges with the Holy Spirit, the life force energy. the all-existing energy, and it creates, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do, and creates knowing, peace, a longevity. And so what I have been experiencing in the fatigue, and this morning I woke up extremely happy. And I also haven't been having a lot of sleep. My sleep cycles are have been more disturbed past couple of weeks, and that's a process of balancing our pineal and pituitary. Because of the thalamus, everything is working together. The melatonin and all the other hormones associated with the pineal and pituitary gland, the endocrine system is beginning to function properly. But in that proper functioning, you become a little off. So not only have I been communicating more with spirit, which is making my sleep patterns a little more off than usual, but also the melatonin is off. And that's why my body is weak, but my spirit is willing. And now I forgot what I was going to say. But basically, like I'm saying, the hormones are trying to regenerate here. Yes, and once the centers here have completely had their balance, we will begin to feel healthy. We could have more endurance, more stamina, feel less hungry, which I have been feeling less hungry, and it's progressively increased the past 2 weeks, where, very hungry to, well, kind of hungry, it's tapering down to not even being hungry. But I do eat, and it's not much. I get full a whole lot faster. I've noticed that I can't have certain things that I used to enjoy any longer, and it creates, I have been actually throwing things up because of my body just doesn't want things, and I don't find enjoyment in that any longer, so that's changing. You may find that changing, and it might come back to being okay. I don't know, but that's quite possible for you as well. So today I am experiencing, and you may be as well, because of this balancing, an intense purging of mucus, even the eyes. It was so intense this morning upon waking up, and has kind of tapered off a little bit now. So you could be enhancing in all of your senses, quite possibly. And I also wanted to, if I can, when this, because of the pull again, and I think I mentioned it a little bit yesterday, the pull in the energies between heaven and hell, your higher self and your lower self, the ego and the heart. There's that intense pull here. And we have a chance at where we are going to fit. And when the veil here is this thin, especially because of where we are today in Halloween, it could either make it easier or harder for you to choose. And it all depends on which thought and which emotion you are going to choose. And if you're finding it difficult to choose love, I recommend creating more stillness. You have an option at where you're going to be, and the quicker that you can choose love, the quicker you're going to receive your gifts. Something was, I had a conversation with myself. I heard myself saying a phrase. And I'm trying to word this correctly, so to make it make more sense. And I don't know where my notes are, but I'm going to okay, I had to push pause and go find it. So my conversation was, maybe if I get through this, God won't punish me and will reward me instead. And I instantly thought, as I heard myself speaking that God doesn't punish us. And I understood this as judgment in the form of the Bible. Now, again, we often think that judgment is that we are going to be condemned for something. But in the terms of when we are spiritually speaking, we are the ones that judge ourselves. We are the ones that criticize and think we are unworthy of it, of something. And according to what we feel in our own heart, the judgment that we hold captive in our own hearts, because we are unwilling to let go of something. And this is what we're currently facing here with these energies. If you are going through something, if something arises within your reality, whether just because of you or because an experience comes into your reality, that's making you very angry, bitter, or depressed, whatever it is, and you are holding that within you, for example, then where we are in receiving a blessing, if you will, or the upgrade, you are going to only receive according to that. That's being held captive within your heart. If you can learn to let go of whatever it is, surrender to that higher power of you, of source, then what you receive will be even greater than that surrender. Our blessings work with our own personal judgment, which is our own limitation, our own pain. I have already had an experience several days ago that really tested me. And now I am able to use the word test in a positive aspect, whereas before I was like, good gosh, because my subconscious mind knew testing as I was going to fail. But now I have been built within this beautiful structure that a test to me is an opportunity. And my mind kept coming back and trying to make me stay angry, stay bitter, and find an alternate route to even make it worse. It really tried. And I said, no, wait a minute. If I do this, is it for the greatest good? If I do this, I might feel temporarily better. But I think by doing this, I'm going to make the overall outcome more difficult. The energy that's going to be surrounding this, if I do this, is going to increase in a negative aspect. And I'm not going to. I'm going to refrain. And I'm going to choose love. And it means that I might have to make myself feel uncomfortable for a little bit. Because I wanted to do something other than what I was currently doing, which makes you uncomfortable. It makes you sacrificing your own personal desires. Your own personal desires. And that is your sexual energy. I transmuted, again, sexual energy. And I used it in a positive aspect. When we use our sexual energy, like if I really wanted to go do something in the form of, okay, this is going to make me feel better, but it's going to make you feel worse. I'm doing it for my own selfish reasons. And we're using our sexual energy in a negative way. I was able to transmute it into love, where my heart could therefore receive that sacred energy. And of course, the illumination is going to continue on forward. And that's why my judgment, or what I am going, when it says that you will be judged in Revelations, according to your deeds. You're here, you're sitting at that table, kind of. You're sitting at the judges' tables, and God's going to say, well, you've done this, 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 and this. And this is just, if we were to think in terms of physicality here. So this is the only thing that you're going to be worthy of. Now, when you learn to let go, forgive, choose love in as many aspects of your life, God can only say, you are worthy of so much more, because of the internal sacrifice. That you saw the beauty of an internal sacrifice for something greater. Which means you're going to receive even greater than that sacrifice. And that's where we are. But it's not only for today. It's not only for tomorrow. It's every day we have a choice at this type of self-sacrifice. This internal self-sacrifice will continuously, for the rest of our life, for every breath that we take, will allow our sacred fluid to burn. And it can never dull. It could only increase, only become more powerful. This is Christy. Much love, health, and healing your way. I am bringing purpose to your life. Take care.